In a small town, nestled at the edge of the hills, stood a department store unlike any other. It had appeared overnight, its gleaming glass facade shimmering under the bright sun. At first, it seemed like just another retail outlet, promising bargains too good to ignore. But this store, this unnamed store, had something far darker waiting beneath its polished surface. It all began with a flyer that arrived at every home in the town. Bright, bold, with words that seemed to leap off the page. The grand opening sale. Unbelievable discounts, you won't believe your eyes. The townsfolk, desperate to stretch their meager incomes, couldn't resist the lure of such tempting offers. The flyer spoke of prices so low, they seemed impossible. One by one, the people of the town filed in, eager to seize what they could never afford. The store was immaculate, filled with gleaming aisles and endless rows of goods. The shelves were stocked with everything from high-end electronics to furniture to clothing that would have been far out of reach for most of the town's modest residents. Every corner seemed to gleam with a quiet, sinister beauty. A man named Harold, a widower living alone, entered the store on the first day of the sale. The scent of fresh polish mixed with an undercurrent of something wrong. His steps echoed down the wide aisles as he wandered through the aisles, his eyes wide with disbelief. He had never seen such low prices before. He felt a strange twinge of unease, but it was overshadowed by the thrill of finally being able to afford luxuries he could never have imagined. But as he moved deeper into the store, things began to feel strange. The lights flickered, and the air grew colder. He could hear footsteps, though no one else was around. He shook it off, telling himself it was just the excitement getting to him. But then, he noticed something even more unsettling. There were no other shoppers. Just as he turned to leave, Harold saw a man at the back of the store, standing motionless. The man wore a pristine suit, his face obscured by shadows. His eyes were fixed on Harold, an intensity in their gaze that sent a chill creeping down his spine. "Are you enjoying the sale?" the man asked, his voice too smooth, too polished. Harold nodded, a bit too eager, trying to dismiss the unease bubbling in his chest. "Yes, but I don't see anyone else. Is there another part of the store I'm missing?" The man's lips curled into a smile that felt more like a sneer. "This store is open only for a select few. It's exclusive." The hairs on Harold's neck stood on end. The store seemed to be closing in around him, its vastness now feeling oppressive. He stepped backward, but the man's gaze never wavered. Something wasn't right. "I think I'll leave now," Harold said, his voice trembling. But as he turned, something caught his eye. Something faint, almost imperceptible at first. The shelves, once filled with merchandise, were now barren. The prices on the labels were still the same, but the items that should have been there, like the televisions, the furniture, the clothes, were gone. The shelves were empty. The store felt empty. Harold's heart began to race. He walked faster, his steps quickening, only to realize the door he had entered through had disappeared. The exits were gone. He was trapped. Frantically, he tried the other doors. No matter which direction he took, they all led back to the same desolate section of the store. It was as if the very fabric of the place had shifted. And then came the whispers, low and sibilant, swirling through the air. He turned, searching for the source, but saw nothing but darkness. And then he heard it. A voice from behind him. "Welcome to the sale, Harold," it said. So familiar, yet so wrong. "You've made your choice. Now you must pay." Spinning around, Harold's eyes widened in terror as the man in the suit stepped forward. But this time, his smile was gone. In its place was a hollow stare, lifeless, as if the man was not truly there at all. "Pay?" Harold stammered, his pulse hammering in his throat. "What do you mean by—" The man tilted his head, his voice lowering to a whisper. "The price of this store, Harold, is your soul." Suddenly, Harold felt a sharp pain in his chest. He stumbled, clutching at his heart, and fell to his knees. It felt as if the very air around him was suffocating him, draining him of his energy. But before he could collapse entirely, a horrifying realization dawned on him. The bargain wasn't his alone. It was a store-wide agreement. The price, it turned out, was not just in dollars or cents. The bargains that had been too good to be true. They were never meant to be paid for in currency. Each purchase had been a silent contract with the store, one that cost something far more precious than money. As Harold's vision blurred and darkness closed in, the man's voice echoed through the endless aisles.